from the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel. This is a severe weather alert.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's now 8 o'clock. Meteorologist Taylor Plott here, along with meteorologist Kelly Rawson and Sam Camp. Meteorologist Chase Wilson, he's finally going home. He's had a very long evening and day, so we're happy to allow him to go back to his house and rest up for the rest of the evening, because him and Fred Gossif they've really deserved it, because they were here all night tonight. All right, we're still watching things. There's been some transient areas of low pressure, of rotation. Technically, it would be an area of low pressure. We've just seen those kind of off and on here over the past hour or so, but there's really nothing that stands out that screams tornadic. But what we will have to watch is for this cluster of cells, and maybe even a little bit of embedded supercell there that is near the Moulton area. So Sam, if you want to zoom on in here towards the Moulton area, then we'll get into what's going on in the Lawrenceburg and Pulaski areas, because I know it's going to get loud here for Pulaski here soon. There's a little area of rotation that we're watching in this area. If you want to pop on the velocity data real quick. Again, this is storm relative is fine to start off with, and okay, it's now in that range folding area, but you can kind of see a little bit of twisting going on right here in the northwestern side of Moulton. It's looking pretty high up in the storm at that point, so you're getting what's the rotation, the mesocyclone at that point that's weakly rotating aloft. So we'll continue to watch this. We do have a source that we can look at that has a little bit of a closer vantage point there. We can't show it on air, but it does not really show anything that's happening over here in the Moulton area. But again, we're watching it. It's something that we'll just have to keep an eye on, not only with this, but everywhere else across the line of storms.
And Taylor, I do want to just go ahead and give an overall update. I'm going to go ahead and go to our current watch warning map.
Yeah.
And I do want to give you guys an update, especially for you folks in North Alabama. Your original tornado watch was supposed to expire at 8 p.m. The National Weather Service has decided to extend it 1 hour, with this line continuing to move through as a just in case. We're watching the line as well as they are, and should a warning be issued, of course, we will be live on the air covering that. But I did want to update you folks in North Alabama. Your tornado watch has been extended until 9 p.m. originally set to expire at 8 p.m. So we have 1 more hour to go as this final line of storms moves through. We'll be watching areas of rotation very closely, and we, of course, will provide you any updates should we need to.
Thanks, Kelly. And that is for everybody, right? That's
for
not
everybody
trimming
in North Alabama.
Okay, so they didn't even trim back. Well, I guess they couldn't, because there's still stuff going through Lauderdale County.
Correct.
Okay, well, that makes sense. So, all right. So like Kelly mentioned, blanketed underneath this just mass of flash flood warnings is that red shaded area. That's that tornado watch. And imagine, I guess since they extended it, did they technically keep it as a PDS? I'm guessing I know this doesn't matter at this point, but just a formality, this would technically still be a PDS tornado watch, but we're not going to be dealing with, robust, violent tornadoes with this area of rain and storms that's moving on through here. All right, let's get in closer to the Lawrenceburg and Pulaski area. This is the storm that has moved through Lawrenceburg, for at least for the most part. We're still hearing rain on the roof and hearing some thunder outside as well. So this is the first one that moved through, and this is that second batch. So Lawrenceburg, anywhere from Summertown down to Lawrenceburg and Loretto, US 43, once this batch moves through, which it is now, you're good to go for your severe weather risk to be over with after that moves through. Pop on some velocity data. We've been watching specifically in these areas. We have our X-band here in Lawrenceburg. It's attenuated because we have a storm that is sitting right on top of the city. But this is a look from the high top NEXRAD over there in Jackson County, Alabama. And there are little areas of spin. They're not explicitly strong, which is good. But again, this is what we're now in the full-blown, we're just watching the radar or watching anything that rotates, anything that gets strong. And again, there's nothing that is screaming, tornado, 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 which is good. So this will continue to work its way on off to the east. For Hohenwald points to the west, Waynesboro, Florence, Russellville, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, everybody off to the west, you're good to go. Your severe weather risk is over. For Lawrenceburg, Columbia, you've got Lewisburg in Marshall County, you've got Pulaski, you've got Fayetteville over here in Lincoln County, you've got Ardmore and Elkmont and Elkton over here in the eastern part of our viewing area. You still have this line or batch of storms to roll on through. Some of them are still embedded supercells. They're weakly rotating, but the environment is still allowing some of those supercells to pulse up every now and then. And sometimes when they pulse up, they can quickly produce a brief spin-up tornado. That's why that tornado watch is still in effect here for North Alabama. So that's that. We zoomed in to Lawrenceburg and Pulaski. Again, there's nothing severe here, just some gusty winds, heavy rain, thunder, lightning. That's the deal right now. I'm not seeing anything tornadic. Let's go down into this cell that's in Limestone County, because that's going to be the strongest one that we have right now. So let's go in and investigate and see if there's actually anything suspicious going on with this. I'm not seeing anything reflectivity-wise, but velocity, there could be something right in here. Okay, there's not. That's good. Just tiny little areas of rotation. That storm relative. What about base? Sometimes base, you can just actually pick it out just a little bit easier. I'm not seeing anything on base either. Again, we're still watching that cell that's near the Hillsborough and Cortland area that has a little bit of rotation with it. I'm not seeing anything of significance on that end. We're still monitoring cells. Kelly, if you want to slide the radar down just a little bit further to the southeast, or southwest, excuse me. Yeah, keep going just a little bit more. We're still watching these cells that are coming out of Winston County in extreme southern Lawrence County here in Alabama, south of Moulton. This is getting, if you travel down Alabama Highway 33, you get into the Bankhead National Forest here in that part of Lawrence County. Very rural area, it's not really rough terrain, but it's pretty hilly terrain out there in the Sipsey Wilderness. And this will be moving out of that area eventually into Moulton and the east side of Lawrence County here as you take if you take Alabama Highway 24 from Moulton to Decatur. What's the velocity data on this? Because that would be kind of in that zone where you might have, and there's a little bit there. But again, everything you see, everything that I'm pointed out to you, it's not the bright red and green that's touching each other. That's not your tornado vortex signature like you would see with an actual tornado that is either about to happen or is happening. This is very weak rotation. That's what we're dealing with now. But every now and then you can get, like I mentioned, you can get a quick pulse up. For some reason, the storm moves over just the right little pocket of instability, and then it can briefly pulse and it can produce a quick tornado. That's what we're watching for right now. The big issue at the moment continues to be the flash flood risk. There's several roads that are closed. You've got a lot of flooding that's going on here. Have any of you guys seen anything else on the flooding potential? I really haven't seen much in the Weather Service chat in regards to.
Lauderdale County EMA just continues to close multiple roads throughout Lauderdale County.
Okay, what roads are they like? Are they significant highways or county roads, or what are we dealing with there in Lauderdale?
A significant one would be they have barricaded Grisham Road between Helton and Chisholm in Florence.
Okay, is that in the city of Florence?
Yes.
Okay, so if you heard, I'm pretty sure y'all heard Sam Camp there. I can see the.
Another one too.
Go ahead.
The underpass at Highway 20 at Wood and Woodland, and then
Mm-hmm.
Marcel Road and Grisham Court.
Okay, so yeah, there's still flooded roadways here in downtown Florence and the Florence vicinity.
We also have a report from Lawrence County, Tennessee. A road completely washed out and closed near West Point in Lawrence County. I don't have anything more specific than that. And then Wisdom Road on Insurance Bluff on the side of the bridge in Lawrence County, Tennessee.
Okay, let's go over to Fast Track real quick. What do you got over there, Sam?
This is just the situation down just south of Alabaster near Birmingham.
Oh, this is the Birmingham one. Oh yeah. We can mention that just briefly. So if anybody has family, relatives, friends that are down in the Birmingham metro area, this is a tornado that I believe is still on the ground here. That's the Weather Service NextRad site, by the way. That's BMX radar there. If any of y'all have gone down Interstate 65 to get to the Shelby County Airport, the NexRad radar is just to the southeast of the airfield. At the airfield is the National Weather Service office in Birmingham. And let me see, so it looks like that they have, all right, so they're taking shelter there because their toss-over office for taking over if they need to take shelter is Peachtree City. That's the Atlanta National Weather Service. And it looks like that they are, yes, John DeBlock says that they are sheltered. So this is a tornado that appears to still be on the ground here in Shelby County. Again, this is, if you have any friends, family, relatives, they're probably watching this. But if not, back the view out, just because if people do have friends and family down there, Sam, let's give a heads up of where this is going. Again, this is nowhere in our viewing area, but just if you have any friends or family that are down in the Birmingham metro area, this is a tornado that's on the ground in Shelby County. It's moving to the northeast. It'll eventually get into Talladega and St. Clair counties here on the east side of Birmingham. Here's Vincent on the east side of Shelby County. Again, that's a damaging tornado that is on the ground here that is just to the east of the radar site. So if you have any friends or family that live in, I believe Childersburg is over here. You've got, here's Highway 280 that goes over the summit, and then eventually work your way down into parts of Shelby County on the east side of the Birmingham metro area. Quick storm, you might have to go closer on that, but that's Vincent. Again, if you know anybody who's in that part of Shelby County, the northeastern part of Shelby County, close to St. Clair County and Talladega County here, near the Vincent area. Again, this is moving from the Shelby County Airport up northeast, and this will eventually get towards Pell City, and then we'll continue on northeast of that, and that eventually gets close to the Gadsden area eventually later on down the road if it survives at that point. So again, yeah, that's stuff that we've been watching. This is just because we didn't have tornadoes. Let me rephrase that. We had tornadoes here across North Alabama in some places, but it wasn't as widespread and as violent as we thought it was going to be. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for Mississippi and Alabama, specifically central and western Alabama, as you see here, because they still have active tornado warnings ongoing. So again, that's if you have any friends or family down here in the Birmingham metro area, just make sure that they are watching their local station down there because there's still tornado activity going on in that spot. Speaking of tornado, let's go back to Viper. I'm watching an area of rotation that's starting to get a little bit more organized here. I'm looking at, all right, you got high top. That's what I'm looking at too from my phone here. This is just going to be to the west of Hillsboro. If you want to pop on the velocity when you get a chance, Kelly, right here. Actually, two areas of rotation. This one's more broad. This one is a little more tight, and I don't. Let me see what if the Weather Service in Huntsville is said anything. Yeah, they're saying broad rotation between Cortland and Hillsboro and Lawrence County. So we'll stay here just a little longer in case the Weather Service in Huntsville decides to issue a tornado warning on this. Do we have any cameras? Do we have a camera near Hillsboro or Trinity? I think our only one in Lawrence County is the Hatton one.
It'd be Hatton, but we couldn't see it.
You couldn't see it because
Right.
you're going to be looking, directly back into this.
We'd be looking through the tower, actually.
Would you? That would be in the
That
way?
direction, actually.
Okay. Let's do a storm track on this, Kelly, and let's take it out we'll go about 45 miles per hour. I think that's kind of what things are trending speed-wise. That's a good spot right there. So this is just a heads up in case this does decide to spin up a little stronger, and I'm still watching it. It's still there. So the Weather Service in Huntsville might go ahead and issue a tornado warning with this. So just heads up, if you live in Flower Hill, in Hillsboro, Fish Pond, it will get to your place in about 5 minutes, and then eventually move into Limestone County. So that's going to be Ripley, Blackburn, and the Lawson area. That's going to be close to 8:30. And then Tanner and Athens close to 8:35 to 8:37. So again, it's this weak area of rotation. It's consistent. sometimes, especially in this environment, that's what the Weather Service is going to look for. They're going to look for consistency, and there's a chance that they might issue a tornado warning with this here soon if it continues that way. And let's do something real quick. Pop up the Decatur camera. I want to see what the temperature and dew point are, because we've been watching this, and again, there's a minor surge of instability at 67 over 62, so that's good. You got a very nice breezy southeast wind at 25 miles per hour. Again, this is looking back towards Decatur. We're not going to be seeing anything from this vantage point. This is the Hudson Memorial Bridge here in Decatur. This is U.S. Highway 31 that goes over the Tennessee River in downtown Decatur. But you're not going to see anything from that vantage point, but you're going to be able to see that temperature and dew point, and that tells me that there is a little bit of juice in the atmosphere here. So there is a chance that there might be a tornado that's developing. I'm still seeing. Let's go to fast track. Sam's got it on fast track. Is this area right here? That's that area of rotation. And again, that's that storm track that we generally just talked about. This is just a different viewpoint here. That's the storm relative velocity. That's the thing that I'm looking at. And just for we use these different type of terms, storm relative velocity. Then we have what's called base velocity. Storm relative, what it does is it takes into account where the storm is moving and how fast those storms are generally moving as well. Because if the storm's moving, it's going to experience the wind outside of it in a different form, as opposed to just if you're just standing here and then the wind's blowing, you're going to feel it because you're from one vantage point because you're standing still. But if you're actually moving either into the wind or away from the wind, the way that the wind it interacts with you, it's different because you're actually in motion. So that's why storm relative velocity, that's why it looks different here. This is base velocity, so this is going to be winds that are going towards the radar here, and it's actually getting pretty strong. So that tells me that there's a pretty good either inflow coming back into the backside of the storm, or that rear flank downdraft. Something's going on here that's picking up the wind. And if you flip over to storm relative velocity, if you want to do that real quick, Sam, that's where you actually see where the wind is moving away from the radar. You get a little bit better vantage point here, so you actually see the circulation better because, again, like I mentioned, it takes into account where the storm is moving and at what general speed things are moving out there as well. You can actually see some areas of rotation that are better here. So, again, that's what we're watching for. Again,
Huntsville is aware.
Yeah, they're aware. I saw that Katie McGee posted that from the Weather Service in Huntsville. So it's 8:18 here. So let's hang with this for just a couple more minutes because, again, like I mentioned, it's consistent, and I don't want to just jump off and all of a sudden a tornado warning is issued and then we just have to jump back on here. So we'll just hang with this for just a couple more minutes. So again, this broad rotation is just now crossing Alabama Highway 20, that's alternate 72 that goes from Decatur west towards Hillsboro and Cortland. This is just now crossing that highway. Right around here is, if you know this area, there's that fire department right there along Alabama Highway 20. That's where that Hillsboro text is right there. It's going to be right there on the highway. So if anything's happening, there's people that are going to be manned at that fire department, so they will be able to give any reports if something is ongoing. But again, it's just broad at this point, but it's still there, and it's moving into parts of Limestone County. So Piney Chapel, Athens, Tanner, the Buc-ee's over there on Interstate 65, right there at Huntsville Browns Ferry Road. You'll eventually get into French Mill over here on the east side of Limestone County. And again, this is just an area rotation. I wouldn't take my tornado precautions in Ripley and Athens and Tanner, but I would think about just, okay, if they issue a warning now, I can go there and I'm okay. So I would go ahead and just get that plan ready just in case they end up issuing a tornado warning for this, and then you are ready to go, and boom, you're headed to your safe place. at that point. Am I missing anything on anything else? Are y'all seeing anything, Kelly, before we toss things back?
I'm not seeing anything other than what we've been talking about. Just another geographical indicator. This area, broad rotation, is moving southwest to northeast, about to cross the river from Lawrence County, Alabama into Limestone County, Alabama. Again, this is not warned at this time. It's something we and both the meteorologists at the National Weather Service are watching, but you folks in Limestone County do need to be ready. Again, you don't need to take action just yet, but you do need to be ready and be paying very close attention. You folks in Ripley, Lawson, Tanner, Blackbird, Athens, Piney Chapel, all of those areas. Again, you don't need to take action just yet. Again, there is no warning in effect, but it is something that we are watching very closely, and we're just giving you this extra heads up at this time.
Yeah, and another thing, Sam, since we're on fast track already, go back to the south, because there's another cell that's coming up on Moulton right now, and it actually has a hook on it.
Let me delete that track real quick.
Go,
I see it.
make sure that's it. Go to reflectivity real quick. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it right here. So this little area of rotation just to the southwest of Wren, this will make its way on off to the northeast, probably get into either downtown Moulton or just south of downtown Moulton. So again, just another broad area of rotation, nothing overly concerning right now on the radar, but like we mentioned, it's just, this is the type of atmosphere that we just need to watch any of these broad areas of rotation, because they could quickly spin up into a brief tornado. But we don't have any active tornado warnings. If you're in Lawrence County, Tennessee and Giles County, Tennessee, you have storms moving through. We're not forgetting about you. We mentioned you earlier. There's nothing going on there that's suspicious. Anything suspicious right now is happening strictly in the state of Alabama and northern Alabama. Here's a quick storm track on that broad area rotation, and that will eventually make its way off to the Caddo and Wolftown area here in Lawrence and Morgan counties, and eventually get into the Decatur metro area. Probably, let's see, Trinity's at 840, so that would get into the Decatur metro area at about 845 to 850 at that point. So that's just another area of rotation that we're watching. All right, with no active tornado warnings on tap right now, again, we're watching things. We'll pop back on here in case we're needed, but we have no active tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings. Kelly has drawn a line here. That is you're good to go if you want to go to bed or just completely check out from the weather side of things. If you're west of that line, you're good to go. So that means Lawrenceburg, Hohenwald, Centerville, down to Loretto, Leoma, down towards Zip City, Florence, St. Florine, Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia. You get down towards the Russellville area, points to the west. That includes Red Bay, Vina. You guys down there, you're good to go. And Town Creek, I would go ahead and I think Town Creek, you're good to go as well, because you're kind of in a weak spot right there, and there's nothing coming in behind it. So I think Town Creek, you're good to go as well. Everybody to the east, we're still watching things. Flash flood warnings continue. Please take heed of those. I just would not go out and about this evening if you can help that. So again, we're watching some areas of rotation, no active tornado warnings right now, but we'll quickly be back on here if that actually comes to fruition a little bit later on. So for meteorologist Kelly Rawson, for Sam Camp, I'm meteorologist Taylor Plott. Stay with the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We'll keep you advised.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.